want to bid you welcome this morning again to Insight. We're grateful to God that He has spared our lives this morning to experience a new day. And this we ought to give Him thanks for, because God indeed is good towards us. Had it not been for His mercies and His goodness, even this moment could not have been possible. The sun is up. It signals that God is still in charge and is taking care of us. I want to share with us this morning for devotion an experience recorded in the book of Matthew the 14th chapter. And it speaks volume to us. Because ever so often we tend not to demonstrate that trust and confidence in God. We observe that after Jesus was through feeding the multitude with 5 loaves and 2 fishes, He sent His disciples across the ocean. It took a little while. He went up into the mountain, perhaps for some rest and relaxation, and to meditate and pray. But while the disciples journeyed across the sea, the passage says there arose a great storm. And in the dark watches of the morning, in fact around 4 o'clock, Jesus came walking on the water. The Bible says that the disciples got very afraid. Perhaps if we were in that setting, we would have been afraid as well. And so they thought to themselves, perhaps it was a ghost. They didn't imagine. They didn't know it was Jesus. And so, I would imagine, as they looked around all frantic and all afraid, Jesus said to them, "Be not afraid, it's I." But somewhere in Peter's mind, he was lingering. I wonder if that is so. After all, his colleagues, they were all terrified. And then Peter said, "If you are Christ, if you're Jesus, bid me come on the water to walk to you." And then Jesus said to him, "Come." Even in his lingering, smattering faith, Peter was willing to take that walk over the side of the boat into the boisterous sea. That's something else. I wonder how many of us would have done that. Or the winds and the waves were boisterous. And Peter still then said, "Master, you bid me come?" When Jesus told him to come, he stepped over the side of the boat. The boisterous wave was all around him. But the Bible says that Peter walked on the water. I want us to ponder this experience a little, because it was not Peter alone in the boat. The other disciples were there. They should have been too, to take this opportunity to walk on the water, because if it was Jesus, then Jesus could have done anything. But I would imagine that they were all terrified. They were not willing to leave their comfort zone and to step over the side of the boat, because I would imagine they were thinking about their own self-preservation. What Peter did. Church, today, I want us to understand that faith is not some theological topic for discussion. Faith means that we ought to demonstrate our confidence in God. Because it's not about us. It's not about what we can do, but what God can do for us as long as we put our trust and confidence in Him. Peter walked on the water. Hear me this morning. Some of us, we may talk faith, but faith is not only a talk. Faith is not only a theological construct. It's not simply for a good discussion on a Sabbath morning. But faith says, I may not see, I may not know, but I'm willing to put my God to the test. And God, church, He never fails. As long as we trust Him, He will always come through for us. He'll honor our faith. In fact, the Bible says in the book, Matthew the 17th chapter, when the disciples could not perform a healing experience, then they asked Jesus, "Well, why could we not?" Jesus then said to them, "If ye have faith as much as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto the mountains, Remove hence to go yonder place, and it shall be removed. And nothing shall be impossible unto you." These were the words of Jesus as we face all our obstacles. as we face our trials and difficulties in so many ways. God expects us to put our faith and our confidence in Him. It's not what we can do. We can't do anything but what Jesus can do. He'll honor faith this morning. And don't feel so intimidated and we cover over and we look at the obstacle. You know, when Peter thought he was doing something well and he started looking around him, the Bible says he started sinking. Then Jesus stretched forth his hands, caught him, and reprimanded him for not demonstrating the faith. Our gaze ought not to be around us. Our gaze ought to be in Jesus. This morning, let us look to Him by faith. He'll honor. He'll minister to us. Then He says, if we have faith, we can say to a mountain, move yonder. And that mountain will be removed. Then it says, all things are possible as long as we have faith in Almighty God. May God help us this morning. In spite of what may come, we serve a big God who's well able to do above all what we can ask, think, or desire. Let us put our trust and our confidence in Him. This is what He asks us to do. Trust Him even when we cannot trace Him. He knows what is best for us. Don't give up on your God this morning. Let us, like Peter, we don't know the end results, but we're willing to take that step of faith. We can walk on water. We can walk in all of our adversities today because our faith, our confidence in God. May God help us this morning as we turn that page of fear and trepidation about all what is happening around us. God has the answer. Let us trust Him even when we cannot trace Him, because He's working around the clock. Thank you so much for joining us on Insight this morning. We pray that God will bless you as you face another day. And so as we close, loving Father, pray that will be those individuals who perhaps are watching this program. Oh God, we know ever so often we tend not to demonstrate that faith. Take away from us any element of doubt. And this morning, in spite of what may come our way, help us to understand that you're in charge. And you can do above all what you can ask, think, or desire. Bless your people today as we reach out of ourselves. Grasp the hands of Jesus. Demonstrate that faith, knowing that He's able to take us in. Oh God, hear us and bless us today every day.
All things work for our
God bless you. See you again next time.
Though sometimes we don't see how they could, struggles that break our hearts in two.